Hello, welcome back to SG Car Mart Reviews. Today we have the Volkswagen Golf GTI in its 8th generation. And yes, it's very red. This is like a very red car. One look at the car and you know that this sort of feels like Volkswagen was trying to bridge the petrol to the electric ones because it looks a bit futuristic. It's very electric feel. And I think a lot of it has to do with the slim headlamps up front, very slick, very modern. And get this, there's actually a light strip that runs across the front, all the way through. It's kind of cool because while most car makers are doing this continuous light strip at the back, Volkswagen is doing it in front with the GTI. So when you're actually driving casually down PIE and you see a car coming from behind, you will know that it's immediately a Golf GTI when you see the light strip across the front. And of course the red signature strip is still here. You also get honeycomb bits up front just to, tell you that this isn't your regular Golf. The Volkswagen Golf GTI is priced at $204,900. The 2-litre turbocharged engine produces 241 brake horsepower and 370 Nm of torque. The 7-speed transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km per hour in 6.4 seconds. For more details on Volkswagen Golf GTI or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car. And at the side, you get 19-inch wheels here. It's very nice. I just don't know if cleaning will be a problem because it's like multi-spoke. It's a bit troublesome, but it does look good. Here you get more red bits, tells you that it's a GTI, and of course, you get that bold line that runs across the side of the car. The continuous bold line till it meets this full LED taillights right here. Now, there are actually small little squares inside. If you actually go up close and personal, sort of makes the whole taillight look very three-dimensional. So that's rather cool. And you have this signal indicator right here. It doesn't just blink when you indicate, it actually flashes. As in, when I say flash, it just goes like... More red pieces right here, the GTI moniker, and last but not least, as with all GTIs, you get twin tailpipes, and good news is they are real. So yes, good on you, Volkswagen. Open this up and you'll be faced with 381 litres worth of hauling capacity. It's 1 litre more than the Cupra Leon, so I don't really think that makes a difference. Thing is, it will not fit the anti-trolley length, or rather it will fail the anti-trolley length test, but it will still fit it, no problem. You can also fit a check-in luggage, no issue. Only thing is, you will have to lift it up. You can't drag it out because of the load lid, but I think it's in place so that things don't fall out when you open the boot lid, so that's fine. Now here's the really cool part. If this space just isn't enough for you, you can actually just pull it out, slide it back in. So this gives you a much deeper space than it already is. So yes, quite functional, this car. Now when you're in here, the sporty theme continues, you can tell, because there's a lot of red stitching all around here, here. Even the floor mat has got red stitching as well, so that's quite cool. This is probably one of my favorite colored interior ever. I'm a big fan of black interiors, but it's just slightly different because it's dark grey with bits of like light grey and the red stitching, and it really stands out because it doesn't look like it'll get dirty easily like the beige or the brown, but yet it's still not completely drabby and boring and dull. It actually kind of lightens the cabin a little bit. I really like that. Anyway, this seat is already adjusted, so I'm still having a lot of leg room and headroom. I'm about 1.6, as most of you already know, so I would figure in a space like this, you could easily fit 2 1.8 adults, no problem. The only complaint I have is, despite the center seat being so soft and supple, there you go. The rear is best left for 2 instead of 3 because this just eats into the shoulder room. So you can fit 3 full-size Asian adults, but it's going to be like crazy squeeze. You can probably do it for short distances instead. Good thing is, there's ISOFIX points here, and there's also ISOFIX points right here. So two child seat, no problem. And if it's just the two of you guys, pull this down, you can enjoy a cup of coffee. And like the Cupra Leon, you can also access the boot from the back seat like this. Comes as no surprise since both cars are based on the same platform. Elsewhere, what I do really like is these pockets here. You still get the usual magazine holder, but get this, you have 2 slots to put in your phone. Now if you look at it really carefully, if you're in the cabin, you realize that there's just no space for you to put your phone. You can't put it here because it goes through. You could probably put it here like this, but if the driver decides to drive like a madman, this phone will fly all over the place. You could also put in a magazine holder, but it's just a bit loose, a bit flabby. So I think the designers and engineers at Volkswagen have probably thought about it, and they decided that these pockets will work perfectly well. And it's not loose, it's very tight and seamless, very nicely integrated, so it doesn't look cheap, tacky in any way. It's very well thought out. And obviously what we can really appreciate is rear aircon vents, climate control, and 2 USB-C ports. All in all, it's a very nice place to be in, very comfortable, very snug. When you're in here, the sporty theme again continues, but there's just a lot of red going on. So you still have the red stitching, red pieces, bits here and there. You get more red around the steering wheel here together with the GTI, but there's a difference. Unlike the predecessors, the stitching on the steering wheel is now black. It's actually not red. That sort of surprises me a little bit, but I'm not complaining. It's a small issue. The steering wheel on that note still feels very muscular, very sporty, and it's multifunctional with this new touch pad thingy that gives you haptic feedback. I just don't like this. I really don't like this thing because it should be, I just feel that it should be buttons instead of these sorts of things that give you haptic feedback. See this like volume control here? You can either press, which gives you a small little feedback, or you can slide. Yeah. I prefer if it's just buttons. I think that's just more straightforward. But nevertheless, it gets the job done. In fact, when I press this view button, which sort of gives me a weird vibration, haptic feedback, I can also change the instrument panel behind. So you can access all the information, including Navi as well. But obviously my favorite will still be this one. This sort of looks really sporty. I kind of like it, the honeycomb design, red GTI logo right there. So it feels very sporty. This is the one that I'm keeping it to. If red isn't your color for some reason, you can actually just change the color accordingly. So you can have, like, I don't know, God knows how many colors, like endless number of colors. You can change, I mean, you can even go, like, if you want purple, you can do purple. But there is a small little problem. You can access the driving modes from here. The colors will not change despite you switching driving modes. The only telltale signs that your driving mode has changed is this small little logo right here. So I'm an individual, sport, comfort, eco. There you have it. Those are the only things. The rest of it, it doesn't tell you at all. I think it's okay, but I reckon sometimes people do get confused, I guess, because I got confused for a bit until I realized that only that small little sign changes. But there are a lot of nice stuff about the car here. Yes, a lot of things here, especially the buttons, do require you to get used to, but here's the thing that I really like the most, okay? So you get wireless charging right here with a cover. So you just lift this up, put the phone in, cover it back up. It sort of reminds you like the phone casing behind on the seats. It's like the engineers and the designers thought about it. If I'm driving like a madman, at least my phone will still remain charged without flying all over the place, because the cover actually prevents the phone from moving. So that's a good thing. This is now completely clean with a nice cutout here to put your key fob. You can just slot it in here. Start stop button is glowing, is nice, like urging you to switch on the engine or something with the park button. And you got to get used to this small little thing, gear lever. Looks and feels vulgar, like I said before, in the Cupra Leon, but you know what? It's no less intuitive because it essentially works the same way. So you get cup holders right here. You can get this, or you can just swing it back in. So it's quite cool. A little bit of pocket here. There's no USB-C or USB ports or any 12-volt socket. Nothing in here, just for you to put your barang-barang. All in all, it's a relatively cool place to be in. It's still sporty. Like, you get in here and you immediately know that, okay, this has to be a Volkswagen GTI. I mean, after all, look at all this. These are all the honeycomb design. It's still here, just like here. So it sort of tells you that this isn't just a regular Golf. This is a GTI. Only question is, will it drive like a true blue GTI? One way to find out. Now, the GTI has a 2-litre power plant up front, pumps out some 241 brake horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque. Now, this has got that same engine as the Cupra Leon, but obviously it's tuned lesser. It's got some 55 brake horsepower lesser than the Cupra Leon, but it's such a sweet engine, it's such a sweet spot because it doesn't have that much power to make you feel like, you know what, it just has too much for its own good. It doesn't feel that way at all. Look at the way the car goes. It's ample grip at the front wheels, just like the Cupra Leon, but just feels a lot sweeter than the Leon for some reason. But yes, of course the Leon has got a lot more X factor to it considering how fast it really is, but look at the way it grips. Drive like this and you'll hit 6.4 seconds Century Sprint. Timing, fantastic, but look, just it's so stable. It just feels so much fun around the bends like this. I mean, I could hardly complain. It feels like it will do anything you ask of it. It dishes out all the capabilities you ask of it. And of course, accompanied by a wonderful, wonderful soundtrack. Oh man, look at the way it goes. Look at the way it goes. Look at the way. There's always so much confidence, you know? Every turn, every twist, every bend is just handled with a lot of confidence. Can hardly complain with this car. Look at it. It's so planted, it's so confident, it almost urges you to go faster every time you hit a bend. And like I said, the 241 brake horsepower and 370 Newton meters of torque is ample. It loses to the Cupra Leon. But again, the Cupra Leon should be pitted against the Volkswagen Golf R, not the GTI. And when you decide to take driving down a couple of notches, the GTI will not disappoint. Yes, I mean, it's a car that's known to be the iconic hot hatch. Everyone knows this, but it can still be used on a daily basis. It's got space behind for the kids and the family and the missus. You've got enough boot space at the back for your weekly groceries and your bags, whatnot. And it still manages to soak everything up nicely without sending all that unnecessary vibrations back to the cabin. So this makes it just such a lovely car to pilot. It's comfortable. And if you need to overtake on the highway, it'll gladly do so. So the conclusion, will buy, won't buy, or go try the Volkswagen Golf GTI? My answer is, will buy. I will buy this car. And I know it's very weird because I remembered saying I will go try the Cupra Leon, which is more powerful than this car, essentially based on the same platform, has a better interior than the Golf, it's trendier, makes you feel younger. Both cars probably cost around the same. I will still choose go try for Cupra Leon and will buy for the Golf GTI simply because the Golf GTI drives at a very perfect spot. It has enough power to overtake, to drive like a maniac. It has the capability to hold its own around bends, on the straights. It sounds fantastic. It's not as hardcore as the Cupra Leon for sure, but here's the thing. It doesn't feel like there's just too much power for its own good. Whereas the Cupra Leon felt that way. It felt like it just had too much power for a front wheel driven hatch. If that was an all-wheel driven hatch, maybe, yeah, I could pretty much understand, because there are certain times when you drive the Cupra Leon and you just feel like you might just lose control if you go in late. You might not even come out of the bend at all. This is different. It hits a very sweet spot. It makes you want to just trash the car, make it go faster and harder every time you go past a bend. Secondly, if you buy a Cupra Leon, unfortunately you might have to be prepared to drive for 10 years because wanting to sell that car might be a bit of a problem. The GTI, on the other hand, there's always a market for it, you know? There'll always be people wanting a GTI. Me, for instance, I always wanted a GTI. Never could afford one, bloody hell. So yes. I would say go buy, yeah. We'll buy the Golf GTI. So there you have it, guys. That's the review of the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Hope you guys enjoyed watching the video as much as I've driven it. Do comment in the comment box below and let us know whether or not you will buy, won't buy, or go try the Mark 8 Golf GTI. Please also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell notification button so that you'll be notified every time we upload new videos. Also, follow us on TikTok at SGCarMart. In the meantime, stay safe, be well.